Bing, bang, boom. In today's video, I'm taking my best-selling jewelry boxes and giving them a revamp with 3 brand new designs that you don't want to miss. So if you want to make some cash and have fun doing it, you're watching the right video. Hello, my friends. It's that time of year again. Time to start making some money at the craft fair. So I have to make some jewelry boxes, and I'm going to come up with 3 new designs to show you today. Now, typically, this is what I do. I'll pour paint on the surface of them, let them dry, and then give them a nice coat of resin. People eat them up. They love these little boxes. They're cheap to make, and there's a great profit, and I'll talk about that more in a bit. But again, typically I just pour some paint on and, have a little bit of fun that way. And whatever design I come up with is what I usually resin. So here's 3 examples of ones that I did last year. So I put the nice coat of resin on the box. I put a nice little bottom on it, which I'm going to show you all today. And again, people love these things. They make excellent gifts for the holidays, birthdays, little trinket boxes for your dresser. You name it. They're a great thing to have if you sell at the craft fair, which I will also talk to you about in a few minutes. But today, I want to come up with 3 new designs. So here we go. I get these boxes at Hobby Lobby. I order them online if they don't have them in the store. They're usually $6.49 a piece, and they are on sale often for 40% off. I never pay full price, so usually I spend about $3.90 per box. You want to make sure you tape off the bottom of the lid. That's what we're going to be working on today. And what you want to do if you're going to do any of the projects you're seeing me do today, you're going to want to just give them a little coat of something. So this is acrylic paint. I'm going to be using glitters and rhinestones and all types of things. So I want to make sure that you don't see the wood through my design. So therefore, I'm just painting it with white acrylic paint. Of course, the color of acrylic paint depends on what colors you're going to be using for your design. An easier way would be to spray paint, but I didn't feel like going out and spray painting outside. It's cold, so I'm just using a little bit of acrylic paint. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put a thin layer of glue on the surface. You can use Mod Podge or whatever you may have. And I'm going to sprinkle some glitter on top of it. Again, I want to make sure if you see through the design, you don't see white paint. So I wanted to put some glitter down so it'll be very sparkly. So here's just some white silver glitter that I have, and I'm going to sprinkle it over the surface of that lid. I'm going to tap it off to remove the excess glitter, and then I'm going to let it dry for about an hour. The reason why I really like to promote these boxes is because it's very easy to make multiples of the same one. You could lay out 5 lids and sprinkle your glitter and then do whatever kind of thing you're going to do on it, or paint pour or mixed media, whatever it may be. And it's something very simple to do. It doesn't take a lot of expertise to create these. And again, they sell really great. I've had many viewers contact me telling me they've done this. They like to sell at the craft fairs, so they tried it and they sold every single one. I will tell you about pricing in a minute, but I just want to say I'm going to be making 3 lids today. Here's a red one I did, and I wanted to use red glitter, so I painted the base red first with acrylic paint and sprinkled on the red glitter with the glue and let it dry. This is a very pretty ruby red glitter. You can get glitter anywhere. Once this is dry, you're going to want to seal it in, seal the glitter in before you go any further. So what I'm going to use for that is just a little Decor Duraclear High Gloss Varnish. I get this at Michael's. You can also seal it in with Mod Podge. Get some gloss Mod Podge, or if you want to use the matte, you can use the matte version, but I have this on hand, so this is what I'm going to use. They sell Mod Podge at Dollar Tree, by the way, little bottles of it. So I'm just going to put some in the middle, and then with a foam brush, I'm just going to spread it over the surface, okay? So we're going to do this before we go any further, because if you don't, see my brush? Can you see the glitter all over it? It's not sealed in. So we have to seal it in. So put a nice thin layer, and it'll make that glitter extra, extra sparkly. Make sure you get right up to the edge and even go around that really thin edge. A reason why I really, really love making these jewelry boxes for craft fairs is because A, they sell really, really easy, and there's a nice profit on them to be made. And another thing is that it doesn't have to be like this elaborate box. Like just doing a silver coat like that can be pretty for a jewelry box. So, you know, you could stencil on them, you can paint pour on them, mixed media, decoupage, just so many ideas for these boxes. And again, buy them when they are 40% off. So depending on the design I do, that's what determines how much I charge. So for these boxes right here with just a paint pour on them, I would charge about $30. It costs me about $10 to make them. Something that I'm doing today, I'm going to be upping the price to about $40 to $50 a box. Now, I always get the comment where people try to sell for what I sell for, and they say, I can't sell it. Nobody wants to pay $50 for a trinket box at a church fair. You have to remember, it depends on your area. It depends on the event you're going to. If I go to a big festival, I'm going to have a very easy time selling these versus a little tiny church fair. Here's how I look at it. If I at least make my money back that I spent plus double, it's a good day. So theoretically, if you spent $10 to make this box and you make 20, that's $10 in your pocket that you didn't have, right? So you can look at it like that. Base it off of the area you're in and how much work you actually put into it. So for this first lid that I glittered with silver, I have these flat back pearls that I got at Hobby Lobby, half off. And I put a little bit of the Fix-All glue from the Dollar Tree down on the lid. And I'm just going to put them down using my quick pickup stick. That's a little gem tool. I'll make sure to link that in the description along with other products that I use today. And I'm just going to place them in a random pattern. There's no rhyme or reason to why I'm putting a big one next to a small one. I'm just going with my intuition, and I'm going to make like a nice valley through the center of the lid just of pearls, and wait until you see how beautiful this looks. This is such a simple project to do. Even if you have like teenagers that are bored, that are into arts and crafts, set them up with a little Etsy shop, help them out, get them into doing something like this, and see if they could sell a few. I mean, this thing looks so elegant just with a little bit of work that I did. I was really, really in love with it. So here's what it looks like when it's done. How beautiful is that? Now, it does look like there's a bunch of gaps between the big pearls. There are smaller pearls there, but they're blending in on camera. I promise you that entire center is loaded with pearls. So that is a very easy, quick little project that you can do sitting in front of the TV. You could bang these out one after the other, and it's super elegant, would make a beautiful gift. Look at this. Now, the bottom of the boxes I do not stain. I like the look of natural wood with them. You can, however, if you want to. So off camera, I did the same thing, but I used red gems instead of pearls. Look at this. How beautiful is this? So I got some red rhinestones from Hobby Lobby, half off. They were different sizes. I'm going to put on screen the sizes of the rhinestones that I used. And I just put a little tiny bit of bling bling chain that I had from Hobby Lobby right along the edge and just created the center there. I wanted that to be the focal point, the centers. But look at this. How beautiful is that? I'm a ruby girl. I would buy that. I would buy that, as a matter of fact. I may have to make more of these because I just love it so much. I may have to keep this one. Now, this one I didn't record for you because it's self-explanatory. Put down some glue and just pop the gems on the area that you want. Let it dry, and it's done. Again, the possibilities are endless when it comes to products that you use on these lids. They're a nice solid wood, so they're great to work with. So for the last box here, I taped off the bottom and I painted it black. I had some pebbles from the Dollar Tree, and I also had this beautiful pendant from Hobby Lobby, which, by the way, again, I have to reiterate, I only buy these things when they are on sale. So the rhinestones, the pendants, everything half off. I'm not paying, $10 for a little pendant. This one just came out amazing. I can't wait for you to see it. But I went and I put some black paint on this lid and then I let it dry. And then what I did after that was dry is I came back with my UV resin kit. I like to use UV resin as a fixative, a permanent fixative that I don't have to wait for it to dry. So I'll show you that in a minute. But here's the pendant. It was $6.99, I think this is. I can't even read it. Half off. And all I do is break the little clasp area off there, the little loop. And now it's just a beautiful little piece of embellishment. So it's a beautiful gold diamond tiger. And I just glued it to the center of the lid. And then I came in with my UV resin kit here. I put some UV resin in a cup. I put some Dollar Tree pebbles in a cup. And then I proceeded to glue them down to the lid. Now, this stuff works great. I like it because I don't have to wait for glue to dry, as I said before. Very simple to use. You don't have to mix it or anything like that. You just put some where you want to attach something, and you go ahead and hover the light over it, and within 30 to 60 seconds, it's permanent. So I'm just showing you some other supplies I'm going to be using. I'll talk about those when we get to it. But anyway, what I'm going to do is glue down these Dollar Tree pebbles that I found onto the lid around the leopard. I think I called it a tiger before. It's a leopard. And we're going to do a little mixed media on this lid. This is going to be fun. So there I go, painting on the UV resin with a Dollar Tree brush. Once I have the area coated that I want to work on, I'm going to sprinkle the stones on top of it and then hover the light over it for 60 seconds. Again, this is very simple to do, but it looks so elegant when it's done. So just like with the glitter, once you get done with the UV light, you just tap it off and any loose stones will fall away and your other stones will be permanently attached. So here we go. We're going to just get rid of those And then we're going to move on to the next area. And what I'm going to do is cover a majority of this lid with these stones, but I'm going to keep a few small gaps open. So let's talk a minute about selling and finding craft fairs. The number one place I go to, probably the only place I go to, is my state's craft association pages on Facebook. So, for example, I live in Connecticut. I go onto Facebook, I type in Connecticut craft fairs in the search bar, and up pops a ton of groups that advertise fairs, upcoming fairs that are going to be happening in my state. That is a great way to find fairs to sell at. Um, you can go on Google and type in upcoming expos or art shows in your area and find them that way. And then all you have to do is contact the person, usually through an email, and then send in your application and pay your fee for your table. It's very simple. So now that all my rocks are glued on, I'm taking some black acrylic paint and I'm going to cover those with black. You don't want them to be white. It looks really crazy. Just cover them up with the black paint and let it dry. What we're essentially doing is we are creating texture for a very inexpensive price versus buying a texture paste that could be $20 for a little 8-ounce jar. So this is a great technique to use when you want to do something like that. Dollar Tree pebbles, a little UV resin, and some black acrylic paint. Once I get done with this step here and it's dry, I'm going to come in with some gold paint, gold acrylic paint, and I'm lightly going to put a little tiny bit on the tips of the rocks just so they're more pronounced. So you'll see just how little I have on this paintbrush. You want to just lightly brush it over the surface. You don't want to paint or pounce. Just lightly touch the surface of the rocks, and the gold paint will give some depth, some dimension. It'll make it really stand out. Once this step is done and that paint is dry, I'm going to come in with a little bit of clear glue, just clear Elmer's glue, and a very small amount of gold glitter. I just want to add some sparkle to that surface. So I'm going to put about a quarter of a teaspoon into a tablespoon of glue. Sorry. And I'm going to lightly brush that over the surface of the rocks that should be dry by now. And then the last thing I'm going to do while that glue is wet is I'm going to take some of these nail gems that I showed you before that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to sprinkle them over the wet glue, and I'm going to let everything dry. These little nail gems that Hobby Lobby sells are so sparkly. They come in all kinds of different colors, and they're located right next to the rhinestones in the jewelry department. So, what do we do with the bottom of the box? Again, you can stain it if you want. I don't like it. I like it left natural. So all I do is I get these round cork bottoms from Hobby Lobby. They are $3.49 for 6 of them. And I glue them to the bottom of the box just to give a little buffer between the box, the dresser, and to make it look a little more classy. And I just glue it with the Fix-All glue from Dollar Tree. I put a nice little ring around the edge of that cork bottom. I don't know, I'm about a quarter of an inch away from the edge because you don't want it to gush out when you push it down either. So I put some of that glue down there. I center it on the bottom of the box. I press it down with my hands, and then I leave it to dry. And that's it, my friends. It's that simple. You saw the easy steps I took to create these amazing little trinket boxes. Now, I want to show you the final results. Here is the leopard box. Look at how beautiful this came out. We put a little bit of flash on it so you could see the beautiful sparkle from those gems. The pendant is sparkling like crazy. Absolutely beautiful. This will go so fast. This will sell so fast. I have no worries about that. Here is the pearl box. Look at how cute that is. I would definitely buy that to put on my daughter's dresser. And again, so very simple to do. And here is the one I did off screen with the red rhinestones. I am in love. So again, with a few simple products, you can be on your way to making some boxes and selling them for yourself. The sky is the limit, and I wish you all the best. Please don't forget to check out the description for all the information on the products I used, ways to follow me, and ways that you can support the channel. If you can, please remember to click the like button. Don't forget to comment. If you don't want to type anything out, just put a heart in there. It helps the algorithm find my channel, and therefore I get recommended to other people who may like to do this. I want to thank you all so very much for joining me. And until the next time, which is next Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, happy pouring.